Areas that were once fertile are now becoming infertile due to nutrient depletion and erosion. The use for all this land also requires high energy levels and fertilizers. The Industrial Revolution began in England in the mid 18th century. Goods were able to be produced on a larger scale by machinery. This increased the consumption of natural resources such as minerals, fuels, timber, water. The ending of World War I brought more efficient techniques. Some of these changes negatively affected the supply of natural resources. These changes include increased production and consumption of goods by humans, dependence on non-renewable resources such as oil and coal, production of synthetic materials which can be toxic or are non-biodegradable, and consumption of large amounts of energy at home and at work. But one good did come out of this. It started the information age. By making good use of the technologies founded in well-developed countries, it may be possible that less well-developed countries will be able to reuse the potential environmental problems as their economies expand in the future. The human carrying capacity is a concept most well known by Thomas Robert Malthus. The idea of carrying capacity states that population will have an impact on the resources of the given area, but not to the point where they can no longer sustain the population. Malthus says that carrying capacity should be the point where every human on Earth can have a glass of wine for dinner and a piece of beef to go with it. Unlike most other organisms, humans have the capacity to change the outcome of what their doings are. We can alter the number of offspring we have, lower our level of consumption and distribution. In the 1700s, when scholars were trying to estimate the number of people that the Earth would be able to sustain at this time, they thought the world wouldn't be much different. But it turns out we were living in two very different times. Today we can transport people and food halfway around the world in a matter of hours, whereas back then it would take months. We have great new inventions such as the airplane and high-powered farm equipment, compared to the boats they used back then, and also hand plows and plows pulled by animals. With this, we also have other great inventions, such as synthetic fertilizers, pesticides, and more modern irrigation systems. This changes our land from something we can't use to something that is more useful to us. These inventions also cause an increase in food production, which has caused the number that was given in 1700s to be wrong. We have greatly exceeded that. These technological advances have to increase the number of humans, but it could also decrease in humans due to humans changing the environmental conditions. Some examples of things that may change human population are flooding due to rising ocean levels, global changes in climate, desertification of agricultural lands, and climate changes that could also change food production. Some people like to believe that technological advances and knowledge will continue to provide means to feed virtually all humans. They tend to believe that innovation will save us all. While on the other hand, some people believe that technology will itself reach a limit. These people believe that everything on Earth has a limit. All resources eventually come to the end. They also believe that we need to learn to live within our limits. We have to know what limits we are willing to live with and what conditions we are willing to sacrifice. Some adverse of human population on the Earth. Humans in search of a new spot for continuing to grow agriculturally usually tend to cut down forests. This causes an effect on water supplies and soil. They affect the soil due to the fact that many nutrients are cycled through the vegetation. When the trees are cut down, the cycle is broken. This does spread the nutrients to other plants and animals, but only for about the first year. After that, the nutrients is gone. But sometimes the nutrients leach out of the soil and into the water. This can cause eutrophication. Humans have also had a great effect on carbon dioxide emissions. One of the largest sources of CO2 emissions globally is combustion of fossil fuels, such as coal, oil, gas, and automobiles, industrial facilities, and other sources. The burning of these materials is usually used for electricity generation, industrial uses, transportation, as well as home and commercial buildings. CO2 is a greenhouse gas. Some scientists have said that CO2 has caused ocean warming. This is based on the idea that CO2 is trapped in the ocean, and as temperature rises, CO2 is released. Since the solubility of the gas is inversely proportional to the temperature. When CO2 is dissolved in the ocean, it forms carbonic acid. Bicarbonate and carbon. There is 50 times more carbon dioxide dissolved in seawater than in the atmosphere. This has a harmful effect on the ocean floor. Researchers have found that coral has been experiencing reduced calcium due to high exposures of CO2. The higher levels of CO2 also affect marine algae and free-swimming zooplankton. It reduces their ability to maintain protective shells. It also reduces survival of larval marine species, including commercial fish and shellfish. These effects of high CO2 levels come from industrial sources that humans have caused. This is just one of the many effects that have come out of high levels of human population. It is okay that the population is growing, but we do need to be careful to make sure that we don't reach the level of unsustainability. Because once this level is overseeded, population will come plummeting to a crashing low, and the whole process will start over again.